So this is Junk Black History with Myishola. And I'm going to tell you the story about Nat Turner. Nat Turner, dang it, I said it wrong. Nat Turner was born Benjamin Turner, and he was a slave that was born into a plantation that allowed him to read and write and be instructed on religion, which made him turn into a preacher. So he's being a preacher and stuff, that's great. He loves the Lord. It's wonderful. And he's known for seeing visions and hearing the word of God, which is great because I hear the word of God all the time. And eventually his slave owner dies. And when the slave owner dies, he gets sold off to another slave owner and junk. But this person's not as, not that slave owners are really cool, but he's not as, cool as the last one. So this one doesn't really let their people, read and write and junk. So the other slaves that get there, they don't know how to do that. When he gets there, they're like, oh, we don't do any of that. We don't read or write or whatever. But he's still the preacher there, and they look up to him and junk. So when he talks, they're like, oh, this is cool. What do you have to say? So Nat's there, against his will and stuff because he's a slave. And then one day he hears this stuff. God's talking to him and stuff. And one second. God's talking to him, and he sees a vision, and he says, we're not supposed to be here. I don't think I want to be a slave anymore. I should do something about it, which is pretty dope. I feel like it's dope that God gave him that vision to do something about it because, a lot of people didn't even get anything. I feel like that, that's pretty cool. So anyway, he goes to his friend, and he's like, hey, Henry Porter, I don't want to be here no more. I don't think we should be slaves. And Henry's like, you know what? You right. I'm going to get my friend, Hark Travis. We're going to meet up, right? So the next day, Henry and Hark and Nat, right? They're all sitting together and they're like, hey, how are we going to get out of here? They called some other ones over, 3 other dudes, and they're all sitting there planning. But what they said they were going to do was cooking a pig. So they're sitting by this pond, cooking this pig, and they're like, oh, we over here just cooking this pig for you so you can eat. And the master's like, all right, cool beans. I love swine, whatever. So that's what they're doing, right? They plan tomorrow's going down. I personally think that's crazy because they were doing it super quick. We already decided we're gonna plan it. We're gonna do it tomorrow. Maybe they just people not enough time to back out or something. I don't know, but whatever. They did it. So next night they decide they're gonna get up. They go and they get these horses, right? And they're like, running through the horses, all 6 of them. I don't. At this point, what are the other slaves thinking? Because as a slave, I'd been like, I'm not getting in trouble for this. I wasn't in it. I'm gonna go tell somebody. I probably would. I wouldn't have been. I don't think I would have been as strong. I would love to have thought of. Anyway, so Nat's going right. They got the horses, whatever. And then the masters come out and they're like, oh, what is going on? But it's the middle of the night. They weren't planning for this. When do slaves uprise? Never until now. So they do it right and they just slash and throats. Right? Kill the whole family. Whole family dead. Whole family gone. Whole family's out. They're not there anymore, right? So and that has people like, we free, get the knives, get the guns. So they get the knives and they get the guns, right? And they all they on the horses, right? They freeing everybody. I don't know where they're gonna go. Do you realize your skin is still black? But whatever, cool. That's what they decide they're gonna do. So they get the guns, they get the knives, they tell everybody, let's go. They added some more people, right? Go to the next plantation down the street. We freeing them too. They didn't ask them if they wanted to be free. So of course, now they got problems because slaves like, the house says, I love my master. That's what they wanted to do. So not everybody wanted to leave. But he didn't care. He killing everybody white. So kids, mothers, children, everybody dead. They gone. They dead. They gone. They're gone. Whatever. So they killed them. That's what happened. They add more slaves. Because now they got more slaves. Because they got them from the next plantation. So they get on their horses, right? They steal them horses. They say, get the guns, get the knife, get the knife, get the guns. Cool. So they get the knives and the guns from there. Now they got more arsenal, right? So they go to the next plantation. You guessed it. So they just going all night, just slashing, killing everybody white. If you white, you gotta die. If you white, you gotta die. If you I don't know if they killed the black people that didn't want to go. I'm not really sure about that. That would seem unfortunate. But if you white, you die. So by noon the next day, because they kept going, it started late at night. By noon the next day, they killed 61 white people. You know how crazy that is? You know how you can't even imagine that because slaves weren't uprising like that. 61 white people just gone. They were just like, we don't want to be slaves anymore, and we're not going to be because now you're dead. I don't think they really thought the whole thing through, but whatever. That's what they decided to do. So eventually, we having fun. People are like, oh, we free now. They drinking alcohol. They playing around. They playing with knives. They getting it in. Whatever they doing because half of them are educated. You have to forget. Nat came from a place where they were reading and writing, and these people weren't reading and writing. They don't have thoughts of their own and things like that, which is how they, were kept so they wouldn't uprise. But Nat over here, he educated and stuff. He like, nah, we ain't gonna stay here. It's time to go. So he did that, right? Everybody's like, oh, no. They start slagging behind. As they slag behind, word getting around, hey, they killing white folk. They killing the white people. They killing the white people. And then they start telling us. 2 days later, that's when they got met with over 100 white men. And they was like, look, we ain't doing this no more. You ain't killing none of us. You gonna kill all of us? Now, mind you, the white people are trained with guns and stuff. The slaves weren't trained for nothing. They just like, oh. So, while they're finding out the people coming for them, some of them going back to their plantation like, you know what, I'm sorry. My bad. I was tripping. I had a long day the night before. I didn't even mean it like that. I didn't even try to leave and go nowhere. I'm sorry. Can I come back home? Of course, they were killed. They were killed. So, they shouldn't have came back because they just got killed and that wasn't cool. But whatever. They come back. Nat gone. Nat out of there. Nat said, I'm free. My slave master is dead. The first master is dead. The next master is dead. I have no owner. I'm out this piece. So while he's gone, they're like, what if he tells somebody else to do something? What if he just comes up slashing throats again? We don't know. Everybody's on edge. They finally find him. They try him. They find him guilty, which technically he was, but I don't really care. Whatever. And they execute and mutilate him, which made me very sad to find out that that's what happened. I kind of wished he would have got free, but he didn't. I don't think he really thought out the whole process about what they were going to do after they killed everybody, but that's what happened. And that is the story of Nat Turner. That's my story. That's the way I like. That's why I want,